Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into one of the biggest videos on the planet, Mr. Beast's 100 Kids vs. World's Strongest Man, to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the hidden formula that makes it so ridiculously watchable. So it all kicks off with this question, right? Who would win 100 kids or the world's strongest man? I mean, it sounds completely absurd, almost like something you'd argue about on the playground. But here's the thing. This isn't just some random question. It's the perfect hook, the very core of a powerful formula designed to grab your attention and absolutely not let go. So how exactly does he pull it off? Well, we've broken it down into 5 key ingredients. We're going to look at the spectacle of the matchup, the power of the underdog story, the pure chaos of the celebrity wildcard, how the finale is perfectly engineered, and finally why this formula is, well, basically unstoppable. Okay, first up, let's talk about the foundation of the entire video, what we're calling the spectacle of opposition. This is the core engine that makes every single challenge tech. Just look at this. This right here is basically the video's entire DNA. You'll notice a pattern, right? It is never a fair fight. It's always the absolute best in the world pitted against the most improbable, the most relatable, or sometimes just the most ridiculous opponent you can think of. It's not just a contest, it's a clash of entire concepts. And that brings us straight to our second point, because this core conflict gets supercharged by one of the oldest and most powerful stories out there, the classic underdog story. See, the setup is never a straight one-on-one. The amateur is always given some kind of advantage, some kind of handicap that makes an impossible victory feel, well, at least plausible. A random guy gets 3 shots for every one from a world champion golfer. 100 guys get a massive $100,000 reason to try and outrun an Olympian. It's all designed to level the playing field just enough to create real, actual drama. And this quote right here from a fan in the stands just perfectly illustrates the payoff. The stakes aren't some abstract trophy. They're life-changing amounts of money for ordinary people. When Chandler fails to hit the baseball, a completely random fan in the crowd wins $50,000. It makes every single moment immediately relatable and gives us, the audience, a direct stake in what happens. So we've got these crazy matchups, we've got the underdogs, but these contests aren't just about skill. They're about creating moments. And that is exactly where the celebrity wildcard comes in, designed specifically to inject a little chaos and a lot of personality. I mean, this quote from DJ Khaled says it all, doesn't it? He gets completely destroyed in the race, but he celebrates like he just won the championship. His job wasn't to compete. It was to be DJ Khaled. The celebrity wildcard is there to be an unpredictable, highly entertaining variable. But hey, it's not always just for laughs. Sometimes the wildcard ends up creating a genuinely compelling sports story, like what happened in the soccer challenge between Speed and Khalid. At the start, it looked like a total disaster. Speed, who's probably Ronaldo's biggest fan on earth, was getting shut out 2-0 by Khalid, the same guy who beat Ronaldo. The story was crystal clear. History was repeating itself in the most painful way possible for Speed and his fans. But then, something just clicks. He completely locks in. He stops talking, hits a target, then another one to tie the game, and after this tense back and forth, he nails the final target to win. When they ask him what he's thinking, he says just one word: Ronaldo. It's a perfect, self-contained story of redemption, all in just a couple of minutes. And you know what? We see this exact same pattern again in the dunk contest. You have the world record high jumper, he's obviously the pro, but then you have the comedian Dresky, who gets a trampoline. And the result? The pro fails at 11.5 feet, but the wild card, with his totally ridiculous advantage, actually succeeds. It's another memorable, hilarious upset. So how do all these pieces, the opposition, the underdogs, the wild cards, how do they all come together? Well, let's go back to the main event, the tug of war, to see how the grand finale is just meticulously engineered for maximum impact. Okay, so look at how this plays out. This isn't just one big match. It's a really calculated escalation. First, the kids face one strong man and just destroy him. Then they face 2 and win instantly. Then 4, then 6. And with each one of these wins, the video is teaching us to see the kids as this unstoppable force. But then they face 8, and the match is suddenly much, much closer. And that right there creates the first real seed of doubt. the first real tension right before the final boss battle. This is exactly what we mean by an engineered climax. By the time all 10 strongmen step up for the final round, the stakes have been perfectly built. We've seen the kids' power, but we've also just seen them struggle. So the final pull isn't just a random event, it's the culmination of this carefully built narrative, which makes their victory feel so much more earned and honestly, so much more satisfying. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Let's put all the pieces together and really look at the core components of this viral engine. It really all boils down to this. First, you start with an impossible matchup, that's your extreme opposition, to create a hook that's impossible to ignore. Second, you use the underdog story, giving them a slight edge, to get us emotionally invested. Third, you inject some celebrity chaos for those unpredictable, shareable moments. Fourth, you engineer the escalation, carefully building the tension toward a massive finale. And finally, you deliver a clear emotional payoff. You combine those 5 elements, and you have a repeatable formula for viral entertainment. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. This isn't just a YouTube video. It's a precisely tuned machine, designed from the ground up for maximum engagement. As we all get more and more used to this level of perfectly paced, high-stakes spectacle, what does that mean for more traditional, maybe slower forms of storytelling and entertainment? Is this the new standard?